right to live. It taught me that the world I knew, the world that I grew up in, was not real. What I was taught in school was not real. After 9/11, my Muslim friends often said that they entered a phase of a Muslim world after 9/11, where they saw a decline in employment opportunities, they were beaten and had their lives threatened. My friends were born and raised in New York, but because of how they looked, their names, and their religious beliefs, they were and still are seen as the enemy of the state. In 2007, when I was asked to join the Organization of Chinese Americans, the New York City chapter, and their Hate Crimes Arts Project with Saya, Uprose, and Chinese Youth Initiative, I learned that that year my organization joined marked the 25th anniversary of the slaying of Vincent Chin. For those of you who don't know, in 1982, we just heard what happened. Vincent Chin was beaten to death in Detroit by two white men who thought he was Japanese and later received no jail time. This sounds just like what we're facing now with the murders of our black brothers and sisters, where there is no punishment for the cops that killed Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. So I want to lift these names up that I'm going to say in a minute, the same way that we do when we protest. So when I say his name, I want you to say Vincent Chin. Say his name.
Vincent Chin.
Say his name.
Vincent Chin.
In 2007, 18-year-old Chanburish Young, who lived in Detroit, was fatally shot 27 times in his home by white policemen. So say his name, Chanburish Young. Say his name. Say his name. And in 1975, 27-year-old Peter Yu suffered a major beating from New York City police officers right here in Chinatown. So say his name, Peter Yu. Say his name.
Peter Yu.
Say his name.
Peter Yu.
This is not just a black fight or a Puerto Rican fight or a Bangladeshi fight or an Asian fight. This is a fight for human rights. This is a fight for justice and equality. This is a fight for the soul of our communities and country. We as communities of color need to understand that freedom, justice, equality is never given voluntarily by the oppressor. So it must be demanded by the oppressed. And we are all oppressed in one way or another in this country. Therefore, your fight is my fight. Which is why if we hope to achieve just societies that include all people in decision making and ensure that all people have an equitable share of wealth, housing, healthcare, education, and the work of this world, then we must work to build that kind of inclusiveness into our own movement in order to develop alternative policies and institutions to the policies under neoliberalism. It's about movement building and not compromising out in order to be accepted into the anti-globalization club. I constantly find myself thinking, what is America? And what I think about is that America is the turning away of refugees